So let's understand the techniques for evaluating and iteratively refining the prompts in generative AI. So what is prompt evaluation and refinement? Now, building on the metrics that we have understood previously for accuracy and efficiency. So you use those metrics to check how efficient and accurate the generative AI output is. You can then utilize the specific techniques for prompt evaluation and refinement, because you know that the better prompt will lead better outcome in generative AI. So the goal is to move from basic interactions to precise, reliable generative AI output that meet rigorous testing standards. The quality of output heavily depends on the quality of the prompt that you input in generative AI. And that's where, when you use the metrics to see that the efficiency of the Gen AI is not good enough, evaluating your prompt and refining it to see whether the refined prompt is giving you better results is very important. Okay, so we'll discuss some of the techniques that you can use to refine your prompts and get better results, so that the metrics, as per the metrics, your Gen AI output is accurate and efficient. So the techniques we'll discuss is iterative modification, A/B testing, output analysis, user feedback integration, and prompt length adjustment. So let's see iterative prompt modification. What exactly is iterative prompt modification? So in iterative prompt modification, you start with a base prompt and iteratively modify it based on the observed outcome, gradually adding the more context or adjusting word to improve specificity and relevance. So in this case, it is kind of a prompt chaining they are talking about, wherein iteratively you modify the prompt to add more context and adjust the wording. So a continuous feedback loop of observation, adjustment, and retesting is required. So for example, if we talk about iterative prompt modification, first prompt you said generate test cases or generate test data for a user sign up form. Then in the second prompt you got some outcome from Gen AI. Then in the second prompt you added more context. So you said generate test data for user sign up form that complies with the GDPR regulations. Then you will get another set of results with the context, GDPR regulation context. Then you again updated the prompt with few more terminology, adjusted more words and terminology. Generate test data using equivalence partitioning technique for user sign up form compliant with GDPR. So this is what iterative prompt modification, and you'll see whether the outcome in each of these cases improves when you modify your prompt further. So this is iterative prompt modification. Then we have the A/B testing of the prompts. So A/B testing of prompts, what it does is you create multiple versions of the prompt and evaluate which version produces better results for you based on predefined metrics. In this case, say for example, I have a prompt A and prompt B. So two variations of the prompt are run simultaneously, and then you compare the performance of those prompts using the metrics, for example, execution success rate. So prompt A, which is say a vague prompt, and prompt B is specific prompt. The two prompts you have defined, write some UI test automation code for login screen. So it will generate some output, some scripts. Then you have a specific prompt, which is prompt B, write a Selenium Java test script for login screen using explicit weight and CSS selectors for elements. So this is very specific. You are specifying Selenium Java, explicit weight, CSS selectors. But in first case, it is very vague. So it will go ahead and generate, maybe in multiple languages it will generate, or ask you which specific language you are trying to generate the code for. So then both of these outcome you then go ahead and test with the execution success rate. You check the output and then you try to execute them without modifying and see which one works better, which one works without any of the errors, and you know which prompt generated better outcome for you. So this is what A/B testing of the prompts is, having two variations and checking which output is better. Then we have the output analysis, wherein you examine the AI generated output for any inaccuracies, inconsistencies, like with as compared to your test basis or requirement document user stories. Is the AI generating the results or the output which is relevant in that case, by analyzing, by seeing the results. So if an AI repeatedly generates test steps that contradict system behavior, analyze why the prompt allowed that error and refine the prompt to prevent it. So with the output analysis, if every time you are getting a test case or test steps being generated which contradict system behavior, then you either change the prompt, refine the prompt to see whether you are getting the better outcome. So that's the output analysis, checking the output manually and updating the prompt accordingly so that you get the output which complies and which is in line with your user stories and requirements. Okay. Then we have the integrate user feedback, wherein you gather input from testers about the usefulness and clarity of generated output. For example, regarding the level of detail of the generated tests. So you analyze the insights from daily testing work and use them to refine prompts to better meet real world testing. If testers find the generated code style unusable, refine the prompt to enforce coding standard. So using the user feedback, how the testers are using, whether they find those prompts useful, the prompt is clear and generated output is actually helping them or not. So this helps to actually update in case required, or in case the prompt needs any changes, or there are some enforcement to be done, or enforcing coding standards in the prompt or in the existing prompt. So that you will get based on the user feedback of the team that is using, say for example, existing prompts. Then adjusting the prompt length and specificity, finding the right balance of information to provide in the prompt requires the experimentation. Why? Because not always very big prompt is going to provide you best results. So experimenting the length and level of detail is important. Sometimes when you add more context, the outcome drastically improves. The quality of response drastically improves. But in other cases, a shorter version or more abstract prompt may yield better generalization and encourage the AI to be more creative. So which prompt length and specificity provides you the best outcome? You have to find the right balance in the prompt. Now the goal is to optimize the best trade-off between control and coverage. So that you will get by adjusting the prompt length and seeing which prompt length is providing you the best outcome in that specific scenario. Then collaboration and continuous improvement. So sharing the practices across the team and across different teams within the organization will help to standardize the prompting techniques for testing practices across your organization. So team should organize the continuous structured session of sharing the feedback, evaluating the existing prompts, then refining it collectively, and then again testing those and sharing the feedback with the team members and with the wider audience in the organization. So sharing optimized prompts across the test organization will help standardize techniques and maintain consistent quality of those prompts. This collaborative approach leads to creation of the shared prompt library. So you don't have to, team doesn't have to go ahead and redefine the prompts again and again. They can use the prompt from predefined libraries. For example, they want to generate the test cases. In your organization, you are following the Gherkin syntax for all your test cases. So you have defined a prompt library to create the test cases. Team can go ahead and use the same prompt from the prompt library. And that knowledge sharing is happening continuously within your team and within the organization. This avoids repeated errors that people might make when they are writing the prompts from scratch individually. Okay. And this approach will also make the Gen AI more effectively or more effective over the period of time in your organization. So collaboration and continuous improvement is very important factor as well. So that's all for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.